The Ghost Bank, How BCCI, Tether, and the Digital Dollar Repeat History. 1. The setup. Once upon a time, there was a development bank called BCCI. It was marketed as a noble project, banking the unbanked, helping the global south. In reality, it was a financial hydra. Behind the polite brochures were intelligence networks, arms dealers, drug cartels, and black budgets. It was a CIA-backed institution laundering the dark side of global finance. So what does that actually mean? It means the same government that printed the dollars was quietly using a private bank to move money that couldn't appear on official ledgers. When it collapsed in 1991, the U.S. Senate published a report so shocking it read like a spy novel: child trafficking, political payoffs, and billions in lost cash. Yet, few remember it. Why? Because the cleanup crew made sure of that. Footnote: the 1992 U.S. Senate report confirmed BCCI's use as a covert intelligence and criminal finance hub disguised as a humanitarian bank. 2. The pattern. History doesn't repeat perfectly, but it rhymes loudly. Fast forward 3 decades, and another financial creature is rising, Tether. Like BCCI, it claims to serve the unbanked and democratize finance. And like BCCI, it has murky origins, opaque accounting, and friends in high places. So what does that actually mean? It means when someone says transparency, look for what's missing. Tether's founders include people with old intelligence ties and reputations that would make Wall Street blush. It operates under the banner of freedom but cooperates closely with U.S. agencies, freezing accounts and assisting the Treasury when requested. Banking the unbanked? More like monitoring the newly banked. Footnote: Tether's partnership with U.S. enforcement agencies undermines its claim of independence while expanding digital dollar control. 3. The digital empire. Today's battlefield isn't land, it's liquidity. The dollar remains the world's reserve weapon, and digital dollars like Tether extend that reach. Behind the slogans about inclusion lies a quiet policy: export the dollar through stablecoins. These digital tokens circulate in economies weakened by sanctions or debt, replacing failing local currencies with programmable American money. So what does that actually mean? It means the empire doesn't need to invade, it just uploads itself. By stabilizing chaotic currencies, Tether effectively dollarizes nations without formal treaties. To the IMF, this looks like progress. To everyone else, it looks like digital colonialism with better branding. Footnote: stablecoins function as covert instruments of dollarization, reinforcing U.S. financial influence in fragile economies. 4. The old tricks in new code. The tactics haven't changed, only the technology. Where BCCI used paper ledgers and shell banks, Tether uses blockchain and offshore jurisdictions. Same goal: faster results. These systems blur the line between financial innovation and intelligence operations. So what does that actually mean? It means that if BCCI was the Cold War's money laundromat, Tether may be its digital sequel, the blockchain bureau for the next era of managed freedom. Intelligence agencies no longer need to hide suitcases of cash. Now, they just mint tokens. Footnote: digital financial systems replicate historical intelligence finance models, replacing physical intermediaries with algorithmic ones. 5. The Bitcoin paradox. Bitcoin was born as rebellion, money for the people, not the banks. But when governments and hedge funds start cheering for it, something's changed. Once marketed as a tool of liberation, it now risked becoming a strategic reserve for the same system it was built to replace. So what does that actually mean? It means freedom money could soon serve empire money. When powerful institutions hoard Bitcoin, the ideology of decentralization turns into another asset class for the elite. Privacy fades, surveillance grows, and the hard money dream becomes another layer of control. Footnote: institutional adoption of Bitcoin undermines its anti-establishment purpose, transforming it into a regulated reserve asset. 6. The real question. If the US embraces Bitcoin reserves or dollar-backed stablecoins, does it mark progress or submission? Some call it evolution. Others see it as BCCI 2.0, a digital web of influence dressed in fintech fashion. So what does that actually mean? It means the future of freedom money depends on who writes the code. The same digital dollar that promises inclusion could also deliver surveillance. And history shows, when convenience meets power, liberty usually gets the smaller share. Footnote. The digitization of national reserves may centralize surveillance under the guise of modernization, mirroring earlier covert finance models. 7. The takeaway. Every empire finds new tools to keep control. In the 1980s, it was offshore banks. Today, it's blockchain. The names change, the pattern doesn't. The choice ahead is simple: use technology to free people, or to file them. So what does that actually mean? It means financial freedom won't come from code alone. It comes from who controls it, and whether the next revolution will be digital or just digitized. Footnote. True decentralization requires structural independence from state and corporate power, not merely technological innovation.